The way plants come into this nursery is we have seed collectors that make collections from wild populations.
Inside a long barn called Building 8, we check out where the seeds are prepared.
So when our seed collectors come back from the field, they bring everything back here.
Look, backpacks, sun hats.
Red maple.
Lucy points out a tray of red maple seeds. They look like little pink helicopters.
So somebody collected all these and then someone's going to plant them and they're going to become trees in our city?
Yeah, not every single one, but a lot of them will.
A short walk from Building 8, we find some seeds that have grown into saplings.
Oh my gosh, I've seen those trees on the sidewalk all the time.
Yeah, that is a really cosmopolitan species. That's a sumac.
And a low shrub with little fruits.
This is beach plum, Prunus maritimus. You'll see it all along the Belt Parkway and the Rockaways. You know, New York City values native plants, and they're not always available on the open market.
But they are available here. From seed to sidewalk, each plant is given the best chance of surviving in the Big Apple. Even the prickly ones.
Cactuses.
Eastern prickly pear, New York's native cactus.
So it likes poor soil, difficult conditions, perfect for New York.
Amy Pearl, WNYC News.
Is that weeds or is that a garden?
A weed is a plant that's where you don't want it.
Support for WNYC comes from Audible Theater, featuring new performances from Eva Noblezada, Gabriel Byrne, Andre Royo, and more this summer as part of Audible's catalog. More at audible.com/summertheater.
If you're one of the thousands of listeners who support WNYC with a financial contribution, thank you. It's possible that your employer participates in a workplace matching gifts program which could double or even triple your support. To find out if your donation can be matched by your employer, just visit our easy search tool at wnyc.org/match. And thanks.
The Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and stay with us for the BBC NewsHour coming up at 9. Let's check in with London to see what they're working on. Good morning, BBC.
Good morning, WNYC. This is Owen Bennett-Jones, and on today's NewsHour, the global average sea temperature has reached a new high. Why is that, and what difference will it make? That's BBC NewsHour coming up at 9 on WNYC.
72 degrees now in Central Park, mostly cloudy, a chance of showers and thunderstorms today with a high near 80 this afternoon. This is WNYC.
Just got the unemployment rate for July, and a lot of teachers and healthcare people got hired last month, but not a lot of anyone else.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business, helping provide a smarter, easier way to get the supplies businesses need to thrive. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying. And by the new Glassdoor app. Professionals can now join real anonymous conversations within their company, industry, and communities and get answers about careers on Glassdoor.
I'm David Brancaccio. There's news just now that hiring was still quite strong last month. 187,000 more people were on payrolls, but that's less than expected for the month just ended. Also, the unemployment rate did go slightly in the right direction, falling to 3.5%. Let's go to economist Julia Coronado at Macro Policy Perspectives, who's just read through the Labor Department's. Well, inflation does seem like it's coming off the boil.
Inflation does. Wage growth is elevated. Look, overall, it's still a very healthy labor market. Strong wage gains, low unemployment, decent job gains, but things are slowing.
And the hiring looks, what should we say, concentrated among certain job positions.
Very concentrated. We had 100,000 jobs in education and healthcare and almost 40,000 in state and local government. So absent that, the hiring was very subdued across other sectors.
Yeah, I saw temporary help a little less. How about manufacturing?
Manufacturing shed 2,000 jobs. The tech sector is still laying off workers, lost 12,000 jobs. And even professional and business services lost 8,000 jobs. So we are starting to see a little bit of a pickup in layoffs across more sectors than just tech.
Economist Julia Coronado is also a professor at the University of Texas, Austin. Julia, thanks.
My pleasure.
Homeowners are sitting on a lot of stored value in their properties, one of the many definitions of equity. And there's another term, equity rich. That's defined as people who've paid down their mortgage by half or more or own the place outright. A report from the property data firm Adam shows the percentage of equity-rich homeowners hit a 4-year high in the second quarter. Nice for the equity-rich, but this is tough on others trying to get into the housing market.
Home equity is tied in part to housing prices, and one reason prices and equity have ticked up is that a lot of homeowners got mortgages before the Fed started raising interest rates, says Lori Goodman, a fellow at the Urban Institute's Housing Finance Policy Center.
They're happy with their 3% mortgage rate. If they were to move up or try to buy another house, their payments would increase very, very substantially.
So they're staying put, and fewer homes are going on the market, says Andy Walden, vice president at the real estate data firm Black Knight.
When you look at the lack of incentive to sell and the lack of inventory out there in the market, we're tracking about half as many active listings as there traditionally should be.
Less inventory leads to higher prices, and that means many first-time home buyers are priced out of the market. To fix that, says Lori Goodman at the Urban Institute,
we definitely need more housing at all price points.
Or a decrease in mortgage rates could make a move up the property ladder more attractive to current homeowners. I'm Henry Epp for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 AI. C3 Generative AI provides ChatGPT enterprise search that is verifiable, secure, and accurate across all enterprise data. Learn more at c3.ai. This is Enterprise AI. And by BuySide from the Wall Street Journal, an independent commerce site designed to help consumers make smart decisions with their time and money. WSJ.com/BuySide.
Summer travel still in full swing for many, and Turkey's been having a good year so far, despite the economic challenges there, especially high inflation. The ancient sites of Istanbul are a big draw, and so is the weak Turkish lira, which stretches the spending power for foreign visitors. But Istanbul is grappling with another weakness in a key piece of transportation infrastructure affecting tourists and locals alike. It is hard to find a taxi. Victoria Craig reports.
It's rush hour in Kadıköy, a neighborhood on the Asian side of the Bosphorus Strait. Small groups of people are on the side of the road in the hot sun, arms outstretched, trying to hail a taxi.
Çamlıca'ya gidiyor musun? Gitmezsin değil mi? Bravo.
Emre Gürsoy and his friend need a ride to Çengelköy, about 25 minutes north. Here in Istanbul, passengers and drivers have to agree on a destination before driving off. Gürsoy has tried 4 cab drivers. Not one will take the fare.
No, he says, I want to go to the European side.
It's common for drivers to say they want to go to the European side of the city because it's a longer ride, and more miles means a bigger fare.
I don't try every day because it's a hopeless situation and it's a horrible city to take a cab.
It's horrible for a lot of people. Last year, the Istanbul municipality got some 80,000 complaints from riders. More than half said a driver chose a longer route or was picky about the customers they chose. A common gripe from locals is that drivers pick up tourists who are more easily ripped off. Taxi stand operator Ahmet Ozer has been in the business for more than 50 years.
He says
the main problem is there aren't enough taxis on the road. Because of that, drivers can be picky. Putting more cars on the road seems easy enough, but the number of taxis in Istanbul has only increased by 3,000 since 1965. Meanwhile, the city's population has swelled by 14 million. Professor Ezer Karakas is from Istanbul and is now a public economics professor at the University of Strasbourg. He says the number of taxis is set by the federal government under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
The central government has to sign this law to increase the number of cabs in Istanbul, but they don't.
And he says the reason they don't may be because the city's political leadership is controlled by the opposition party. It could all come to a head during mayoral elections in March.
If the candidate of Erdogan wins the election in Istanbul, I think they will sign this demand of increase of cabs in Istanbul, and the problem will be solved.
Back on the bustling streets of Kadıköy, Emre Gürsoy finally finds a coveted cab. Other taxi seekers, though, aren't so lucky. They watch driver after driver zoom off into the hazy sunset. In Istanbul, Turkey, I'm Victoria Craig for Marketplace.
Recapping hiring in America was slightly less than expected in July, which is a vote to keep interest rates where they are. NASDAQ and S&P futures are up 0.3% each. I'm David Brancaccio, Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.